All right, folks, so last time I showed you how to make a basic spreadsheet to balance your checkbook, and this here's represents that sheet. And so what I want to do this episode is show you how to take this and make a spreadsheet that has multiple tabs, one tab for each month. That way you know, if you have a lot of entries at the end of the year, you're not 12 months in and you got thousands of lines of entries that are hard to go up and down and look through. There is an advantage of doing it all in one sheet, in that if you have to search for something, you only have one sheet to search in to try to find an entry. Let's say it's for taxes or tax refund or something. You don't remember which month you got it in. If it's all in one sheet, it makes it easier. But we're going to show you how to do this in multiple sheets. So the first thing we're going to do is go down here. We're going to rename this sheet because now the name of the sheet is important. And so we're going to right click. Let me show you that again. So we're going to right click. This menu will pop up. We're going to select rename. Click on that, and now we can type in, let's say we're going to call this January 2019, right? Pretty simple. So now we want to create an additional sheet. So we're going to go over here where it has a plus sign, click new sheet, left click that, and again we're going to rename this, right click on it, rename, and we're going to call it February 2019. And of course we just keep doing this till we got all our months in there. We're not going to stop and do that for you now. But so at any rate, what you want to do is you want to or the easiest way to do this is to copy your January sheet. So we can just left click on the first row and then hit shift, left click on the last row, hit Control C to copy, come over here to February, and then hit Control V to paste, and now we've got a copy of January in the February sheet. This is good assuming that your paycheck and your rent, your electricity, all these entries are all the same. Now again, it just copied the formatting, and I can come over here. I can either click OK and then resize all these columns and stuff, or I can come over here where it has the paste options, and one of these has an option that says keep source column widths. So that's what I want to click. I want to click that one there where it has the little the square with the left and right blue arrows on it. Click that one, and now it will make it look like it did on the first one, which is going to be fine until I get to December, because my column A is on here, and if I change this to December, so 12/31, you notice I get all these hash marks because my column's too wide, because it's not wide enough to accept a two-digit month. But again, my line here with my left and right pointing arrows, I can double left click on that and it will automatically make that wider. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, since this is February and I have January dates in here, is I want to change all these to January. Now I can go in each one and change it to January. Now if I have all these, remember I had all these bills that were due on the first of the month, so I can go over here to the bottom right corner of that cell to where I get the, not the thick plus mark and not the plus mark that has the four arrows going either everywhere, okay, but I can click on the one that has the skinny plus sign, left click, drag everything that happens on the first, let go, and it will fill these in. It autofills the series, so it's the second, third, fourth. That's not what I want. Click this drop down menu, tell it that I wanted to copy those, and now everything there is the first. So that takes care of those for February. The rest of these I might have to go in and manually change these. I have not, to my knowledge, there's no way to tell it to automatically take all your dates and just change the month without changing the day and the year and stuff too. So it takes a little bit of work to do that, but it's not too bad. So now these are all my, and it knows, see how this is not, it's not to the right like these other ones are. it knows that February 31st does not exist. So it will give you some visual clues like that. I think that only has 28 months in it, or 28 days in it. So we'll fix that. All right, so we kind of have all our numbers in here from the previous month. Again, those are probably okay. Let me show you a couple of the things that I like to do with my spreadsheets, and this was zoomed in a little bit. One thing that I like to do is I like to color code all my entries. So my starting balance, let's say, because that's not really an entry, it's really something you start off with. Make that some color, like let's say orange. And then anything that is already hit the bank, I will highlight it and I will make those green. Okay? Anything that, and so I've already moved that one over, that would be green too. So anything that has not hit the bank, I leave either white, or let's say I've scheduled something, like let's say I've scheduled this payment to happen on the 17th through bill pay or something. I will pick a color that I want to use for that. So let's say I pick light green, which means I've scheduled it, but it hasn't hit the bank yet. This one, I could look at it and say that has not been scheduled yet because it's still white. What this allows me to do is when I open up my Excel spreadsheet and I check onto my online banking, I know that I'm looking for the last number that I've recorded that's hit the bank, that's going to be in the green, and this amount should match what my bank account has. Okay, now if I log on or I open the sheet up and I've scheduled this for the 17th and it is hit, then I of course again would Control X from that, Control V, paste it over here, move it, and then fix my formula by right clicking or left clicking that plus sign and pulling down, and then now I know that I need to color code this for having hit the bank, and now this amount is the one that I'm looking at to match my bank account balance on my online checking. Now, one of the things that I'll show you how to do here real quick is I hate not having lines because it's hard to follow these, especially if you got a lot of entries. So I hit press the control button, hit Control A, hit it again to highlight, to select everything in the sheet. So Control A, and then Control A again, and then right click, go to Format Cells. Okay, and then when that comes up, click on the Border tab, hit Outline, Outline, and inside, click OK. And now my lines are easier for me to follow across and tell what's what. All right, so all these things, let's say it's January 17th, so all these things have hit the account. I go over here to February. Since I copied these when some of these were already had already occurred, and what you want to do is you want to set this up where these are all already in your pending column. So I hit Control X, Control V, move all those back over to my pending column, and then I would want to do this, take this version and copy it and make it copy it for March, April, May, June, so on and so forth, so I don't have to do this each time. Now you notice it broke my formula, so I'll have to fix that again. Again, click on that cell. It looks like everything's okay except for it's not adding column or cell B2 to this, so I have to go up here to fix that. So this should be B2 plus C2 plus D2. Hit enter, and now my formula is fixed. And again, I can hover over here, the bottom right hand corner of that cell, left click, drop down, and it will fill in all my things for me. Now the problem that we've got now is that my starting balance says it's $500, where my ending balance for January was 660. Okay, so those don't match. So that means I would have to go in here and manually take this number and put it as my starting balance and do that times 12. I don't want to do that. I want Excel to do all this work for me to make my life easier. All right, so what I want to do is I want to click on this cell, which is my starting balance, and I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to the formula bar, and I'm going to hit the equal sign, and then I'm going to go back here to where it says January 2019. I'm going to click on my ending balance, and then I'm going to hit the enter key, and now that is a formula that says it's using the contents of cell F14 from the January 19 sheet. Okay, so you see F14, that's that cell number, okay, over here. So I'm golden. Now, Excel is smart enough to where if you go over here and you say, oh, I had another entry, okay, on the 19th, let's say. So again, you right click on your row, and you tell it to insert. And let's say you ordered pizza, and you put it on your card, and that was $25. And that was on the 19th. And you update your formula here. All right, so now my ending balance should be 635, but is it 635 on this sheet? And yes, it is, because when you inserted it, it knew to actually increment this number over here from F14 to F15. Okay, so Excel again will do a lot of the work for you if you just let it. So I can go here, I can add stuff, and it will fix it. Now, there are some occasions where you can add stuff, like let's say you add something down here, right? On the 31st, and let's say that you did an ATM withdrawal or something for $20. ATM withdrawal, and you typed it in like that, and you updated your formula. So now you got 615. This is not going to say 615, it's going to say 635. The reason is you added it below, and even though you updated your formula, you didn't, when you insert it above, it knows to increment that number on the other spreadsheet, but if you add it below, it doesn't. Okay, so if for some reason you did this, what you can do is you can come over here. Okay, so that's F16. You can go over here to your formula bar and say, instead of F15, I'm going to delete this, make F16, and now it knows the right number and updates that to 615 so that your ending balance matches your starting balance over here on this sheet. All right, and so again, you do that same thing. You just keep you just would add another sheet, click add, right click, click rename. Going to name this March 2019. Come back over here, click Control A will work to select all, copy, come over, or Control C to copy, come over here to March, Control V to insert, and again, if the rows don't look right, you can, well, actually when you do it that way, it copies your row columns for you. Otherwise, if you do the copy this way and come over here and hit paste, it's going to give you the option to select your paste options down here. All right, so and then again, you'll have to come over here, change your month, and update your dates. So that's the only kind of tedious part is updating your dates from one month to the next month. But again, all your regular bills, your paycheck, your rent, your electric, if all those happen on the same dates, and then that saves you the work from having to enter those each time. Now, the one thing that I would recommend is that you only put things, when you're creating this spreadsheet for the 12 months, only put things in there that happen on a regular basis. You don't want to put pizza in there or ATM withdrawal, because those are probably not going to happen at the same day every month, day in and day out. So what you want to do is you want to put your regular stuff in there, and then as you have a pizza or a tire repair or something like that that might happen that's not planned or a set thing, you're going to enter those, and then by the end of the month, let's say you have 14 entries, but by the end of the month, with extra stuff that happens on an irregular basis, you might have 22 entries. All right, so one last thing I want to show you that you can do with these. So let's say that it's the end of the month, and all these things have gone final. So I'm moving these all over to their appropriate columns as they happened. I moved them over. And so, and color coded everything green to show everything's happened. Update my references, 6/15/10, make sure that's over here, 6/15/10, everything's working good. And let's say I want to know, how well did I do as far as my deposits, my debits, or my deposits, my credits versus my expenses or my debits went. Just pick a cell over here underneath your deposits, and go over here to where it says auto sum, and click on that. It's going to show you, okay, it thinks you maybe might want to auto sum all these values. Actually, if I come over here and I hover over that top right hand corner, I get an arrow that points left and right diagonally, and I can left click on that and raise it up to where I'm covering all my deposits. I don't want to do starting balance because that's not really part of this month. That's previous month's result. But once I got all my debits or all my credits highlighted, I can go over here, click auto sum again, and it's going to tell me I had a total credit for the month in my bank account of $4,000.10. I can click over here, do the same thing, auto sum, drag this to where it's covering everything that were my debits, and hit auto sum again, and it shows me that I had $3,885 that I spent. All right, so if I want to know the difference between those two, I can come over here, I can go up here, click in the formula bar, type an equal sign, tell it I want to take this cell and I want to subtract. So I hit a minus sign and then just click on this cell and then hit enter. Okay, and it's going to give me a number that doesn't make any sense whatsoever because I subtracted a negative number, which is the same as a positive number. So if that happens, what you need to do is you need to come up here and tell it that you need to go to your formula bar, B18, get rid of the minus sign, and we're actually going to add, because we're adding a negative number, which is the same as subtracting, and hit enter. And then that makes more sense. That tells me I had $115 difference between what I brought in and what I spent. Okay, so if you're on a budget, obviously you don't want to spend more than you're bringing in. So this would be an okay budget, but doesn't leave a lot of breathing room. So again, if you want to kind of say, okay, well, how tight is my budget? This would give you kind of an idea of how tight your budget is. So if you wanted to try to make this number bigger, you could say, okay, well, what happens next month if I don't buy my pizza? Now my budget got a little bit bigger. Of course, you've already spent that money, so it doesn't do you any good for this month. But for the next month, you can take a look at that. And again, you'd want to go down here and take a look at your credits and your debits at the end of the month. But you could also, while everything is over here in the projected column, go up here again to auto sum. Now it thinks it thinks you're wanting to have that old column, which you are. Hit auto sum, and it tells you you're going to end up, if you spend all that, with a net gain of $160. So that would tell you how much you had to play with. So if you did want to run your budget really close, you could spend up to $160 without breaking the bank right there. So again, depending on how you spend it. So just a couple ways you can make this multiple months, and a couple ways that you can kind of put some tools in there to tell you how you're doing as far as your spending goes. So hopefully that helps. I'll show you how to do another one for keeping track of your bills if you got credit card debt or a house mortgage or anything else. I'll show you how I keep track of those also in the next episode. So at any rate, hope that helps you out, and thanks for checking out the video. Remember to subscribe. Bye.